Meanwhile, for nearly 6,000 troops deployed to the U.S.-Mexico border, the work continues, and it's still not clear if they will remain in place beyond December 15th. Our border reporter Oscar Margain explains how soldiers there are spending this holiday.
Well, for troops here in Camp Donna, they'll be spending much of their time indoors because of this cold and drizzly weather. But that doesn't mean that celebrations are canceled. Quite the contrary. Knowing they'll be spending Thanksgiving with each other rather than back home with family, servicemen and women have been getting ready for a good shindig. The kitchens have been working to feed roughly 1,400 soldiers, and that's 3,000 servings of turkey, 800 servings of sirloin steak, and all the fixings, plus leisure activities, including a chance to call their families.
No, the soldiers are going to miss their families, but you know, the Army leadership here is dedicated to making sure that the soldiers have a fantastic Thanksgiving here on location, and the residents, the local populace here have been contributing to that as well.
Major Wamsley said that the troops here have been well received by the local community. Some people have brought donations and treats. He says that's helped troops with morale here at Camp Donna. Now, no word yet on how long the troops will remain deployed. There is a tentative date for withdrawal of December 15th, with hopes that the soldiers will get to go back home just in time for Christmas. In Donna, on the Texas-Mexico border, I'm Oscar Margain reporting.